discovered that our body is made of bones. 206 bones. Bones make up the whole skeletal system, all right? And they're split into two regions, the axial and the appendicular sections. Now, we're going to go to our scientist, Krystal, and she'll go into further detail of these two regions.
Scientists are very excited to tell you about our newest discovery, bones. Now, most of you don't know this. Actually, none of you know this. This is what you look like inside of your body. These are bones, okay? And we're going to start off by talking about the axial and the appendicular skeleton. This is the axial skeleton. It is made up of the skull, the vertebral column, and the thoracic cage. What the axial skeleton does is protects the central nervous system, the brain, the spinal cord, and all of the other essential organs that are found in your body. Also, it holds up the skull and supports the trunk and your neck. Next, we will be talking about the appendicular skeleton, which is displayed in this picture by the color yellow. So basically what the appendicular skeleton is the limbs and the girdles that are attached to the axial skeleton. And the appendicular skeleton has a very basic function. It just allows for us to move and be able to walk and wave our hands and throw the ball. And it just makes sure that you can move your body. Now we will be going back to Vinny, who will be discussing more information about bones.
Thanks, Krystal. Okay, so with 206 bones in the body, there's no way that they're all the same type, right? Well, according to Science Weekly, they're not. There's actually 4 types. The short bone, the long bone, the flat bone, and the irregular bone. Short bone is short. For example, the patella or the kneecap. The long bone is long. For example, the femur. Irregular is irregularly shaped. For example, your spine. And the flat bone is flat. For example, your scapula. So, Krystal, where are these actually located within your body?
Well, Vinny, this is an example of a long bone. It's typically found in the appendicular skeleton. This is an irregular bone, as you can see. It doesn't have a very regular shape to it. And that's also typically found in an axial skeleton. This is a flat bone, as you can see. It's very flat, and it can be found in either the axial or the appendicular skeleton. And this is a short bone, which is mostly found in your appendicular skeleton, and as you can see, this one comes from the bottom of your foot. And these are all the different types of bones. It's recording.
Mm-hmm. And how exactly do these bones stay together?
Well, Vinny, the word that scientists have come up with for the site where 2 bones meet are called joints. And we've also discovered that there are 3 different types: fibrous, synovial, and cartilaginous. The first type, fibrous, is usually found in the skull, and there's very little movement because a lot of them are very closely packed together and they show up as ridges. So there's very little movement with those types of joints. The next type is synovial. Now, synovial move a lot because there's actually a space in between the 2 bones that are filled with synovial fluid, but we will go more in depth about those types of joints when we get to bone markings. Now, the last type of joint is the cartilaginous. Just like the fibrous, it doesn't move very much, but they are held together by different types of cartilage between the 2 bones. Now, we will go back to Vinny, who will talk about bone markings.
Okay. What are bone markings? You may be asking yourself, as I asked myself this morning. Well, they're basically just different parts of the bone that allow for sites of muscle, ligament, and tendon attachments. Also, they are conduits for blood vessels and nerves. But most importantly, they serve as joint surfaces that allow your bones to stick together and allow for movement. Some different types of bone markings include processes, fossas, tubercles, and heads, which all allow for bones to connect and move in different ways. Different types of synovial joints include ball and socket, hinge, gliding, and saddle. And now we'll head back to Krystal and she'll give us some visual cues on these types of joints.
Alright, so as Vinny was explaining, bone markings allow for these types of synovial joints to happen. So the first type is the hinge, which is demonstrated like that, and makes it so you can fist pump as if you're at a rock concert. The next one is the ball and socket, which allows you to go like this with your arm as if you're stretching out for yoga. The next one is the saddle, which allows you to do that cool thing with your thumb, which I can't do because I'm not double jointed. And the last one is gliding, which allows you to wave at your friends when you see them in the hallway. Now we will go back to Vinny, who will talk about something else about bones.
Okay. Actually, Krystal, I have another question. How would you describe the anatomy of a long bone? I just got a tweet, someone saying that they wanted to know that, and I figured you'd be the person to know.
Well, person who tweeted Vinny, I have a diagram of the anatomy of a long bone right here, and I will explain it for you. So on the very outside, found on the ends of the long bone, is the articular cartilage. What it does is it provides a smooth surface for the joints of the bones to move smoothly. The next part is the periosteum, and it is around the bone, and it allows for blood supply to get within the bone, as well as protecting the bone from damage. Now, you have the two epiphyses on each end. On the outside it's compact bone, and on the inside is spongy bone. Now, within the spongy bone is the red marrow cavity, which is where red blood cells are formed and taken out for the rest of the body. The epiphyseal line is what divides the epiphysis from the next part known as the diaphysis. And within the diaphysis is the medullary cavity. And within the medullary cavity is the yellow marrow cavity, which holds fat for the body. And basically, that is the anatomy of the long bone. Back to you, Vinny.
Okay, now the last thing we're going to talk about is the histology of a bone. Now, most of this is going to go straight over your head, so I'm not expecting you to understand any of it. Okay, there's things called osteoblasts, and they're the ones that synthesize bone, alright? Keep that in mind. There's also things called osteocytes, and those are found in matured bone and are found in the lacunae, little circles. Does that make sense? Cool. And here's the kicker. Osteoblasts eventually become osteocytes. Okay? Alright. We're gonna keep going. Osteoclasts break down the bone mainly for remodeling. Alright, so that's cool. And there's also canals. There's the central and perforating. The central obviously goes to the center, and the perforating goes off the center to other parts of the bone. And that is mainly for blood supplies, whatever the bone needs. Okay, that wraps it up, everybody. Thanks for coming in there, Krystal.
No problem.
Okay. I'm recording.
Oh god. Okay. Do I go? How should I speak?
Oh.
Alright. Scientists are very, very excited to explain to you this beautiful thing known as bones. So I'm gonna start.
You should probably turn off the TV, don't you think?
Oh. Okay. So, bone markings. What are they? They are different parts of. Just get closer. You're not. No. Oh my gosh, Krystal.
What? I'm freaking close to it.
I told you to say it.
Why don't you say thanks for coming in?